Hi there, this video is going to be all about how reality is a mirror and how your internal world reflects your external world. In this video, I'm going to explain to you how when you change something within you, it'll actually physically change the world outside you. We're going to start super simple. This is you, and this is your life, and they are a reflection of each other. They're a mirror. It goes that way, and that way, and that way, and that way. It basically becomes an endless loop. And so for this particular video, we're going to talk a lot about relationships. And in this scenario, you, or this character, has kind of a broken heart there and is not feeling too good about the idea of love and relationships. What is life doing? Life is showing back to them that reflection. Now we can go on the flip side, which we would say life is showing this person that love is not available. They have a broken heart. But which one is it? Is it the chicken or the egg? Well, here's the thing, is reality does work quantumly, as in everything is in the present and everything is now. And things do build and manifest from a momentum in energy. Most people would observe life and then say, I feel this way. But they would not equate, I feel this way, life is showing me this. All right, so that's step one. Just to let you know that both are happening. And it's essentially a feedback loop. Both sides are completely equal, except there's only one side you actually have full control over. You may have witnessed this with most of the world's problems when people are feeling a certain way and then they're trying to exert control and change the outside world so they can feel better. And these feeble attempts usually fail in the long run and leave other people feeling controlled and shitty as well. And I don't think you really want that for your life, and I don't think you really want that for the world. There's a better way. We're going to show you how. First, we're going to talk about why. Why did this happen to begin with? Let's just talk about us, you. We're going to talk about you as a kid. Very receptive, very open, very wide-eyed, and this can be very young, or even to your age right now. A willingness to accept things the way they are. And so when we come to the world, people that already live here and have lived here for a while, they'll say either in words or through action, whether specifically or generally, this is what the world is like. Everyone so adamantly believes that their projection of reality, their slice of reality, the way they see the world is the ultimate truth. But I do want to challenge you in the idea of what is actually fact. If it was ultimately true, everyone would have the same point of view and no one would ever argue about anything. But just case in point that there clearly are arguments or disagreements on this planet. So people might have different opinions. We say opinions is different than fact. Well, a lot of people aren't very clear on how those two things are different. Their opinions will be articulated to you like they're facts. But here's the crazy part, is that when you observe them or assimilate them, and then you start to believe that they're true, then you recreate, I had to cross this out from my last video, you recreate those beliefs, and then you accept them, and then you observe them. Here's the crazy thing, is someone else's opinion, you can take someone else's opinion on, and then through believing that that opinion is true, it will appear to become a fact in your reality, because your reality is a mirror. Someone very early on or someone along the ways said relationships are like this, or love is hard, or romance is not healthy. A romantic relationship is not healthy, especially when you observe that in a parent. Now you've observed that, and we could say that's a fact because you actually observe people doing that, but I do want to challenge you and say that there are people on this planet having healthy, happy romantic relationships. Now, if you were not in that environment, you would not believe that. You observe it, you believe it, you recreate it, you accept it, and then you go on this endless loop. And then, of course, comes a time in your life where you go, I think I actually want to change something. Come to a point in my evolution where I don't want to do the same thing that these other people did. In fact, I think there might be another way. Many of us have tried many different things and many modalities, and we've tried to think our way out of it. But it turns out we still live in a physical reality, even though everything is energy And whether you believe in mindset or manifestation or therapy, or from the most woo-woo to the most pragmatic, the thing is that your mental world, your emotional world, your energetic world, and your physical world are all connected. So if you don't actually change all of them, and especially if you don't change the physical one, then you're not going to get to live it. Nothing's going to change. That's why I made this process called Belief Breakthrough. And it does three things. It helps you find what the core hidden belief or beliefs are. Because if you don't actually know what the root is, then you're just like chopping the weeds off at the top. And I don't think you want to keep doing that forever. Second thing it helps you do, find where it is within you. If it's existing within the reflection, then it also must exist within you. If you can actually find where it exists within you, then you can change your part in the equation. You can make a different decision. And last, it helps you shift it. Because once you know what it is and where it is, and if it's not something you want to keep living, then I have an inkling, a suspicion, that you're going to want to change it. What this does is, when you shift it, you change. You become a new person. You have a new belief system and a new identity. And then your life changes. The reflection changes. And it's really interesting. Then we go from observe, believe, create, accept, to, cross out the re now, believe, oh, I decided, choosing to believe this instead, taking my power back as a creator. And then we create, and then we accept, and we observe, and we've totally flipped this cycle on its head from powerless to, I'm just going to put more check marks there, freaking powerful. Gosh, isn't that what you want? I want to mention this at this part of the video. This is something that Abraham Hicks talks a lot about, that most people are regurgitators, which is they observe, they believe, they recreate, and they accept. So essentially, most people are tuning themselves to the environment. They witness something, and then they become a resonance for it, and then they go and recreate it in their life. And the recreation doesn't necessarily happen immediately, because even though everything is quantum, the way things work in this reality is there is a time delay. Energy builds up, belief builds up through thought, through observation, through internal resonance, and then it is created and reflected back by the mirror through a time delay. If we just keep observing, believing, and then later on, say 1 week, 1 month, 3 months, whatever, boom, especially 3 months, it's created again, and we accept it, and then we observe it and believe it, and then you're in that pattern forever. It does take a certain amount of willpower. Some people call this being like delusional. I don't really like that word, because it is actually the only thing to make sense to take control over your thoughts and your ownership, and start to not force yourself, but actually explore your core beliefs. And this is another reason I made the belief breakthrough, is because I was like obsessively practicing Abraham Hicks' teachings, law of attraction, and all these other things for a number of years, and just trying to think my way out of these equations. But I realized there's a physical resonance to reality. Eventually these things need to anchor in, to be created and be real. And so it didn't matter how much my brain was like thinking thoughts, if my heart or my stomach or a different part of me was still living in fear and living in the trauma of the past, then these things would not be created. I would not feel inspired. I would not take the action to them. They just didn't happen. And this was quite literally my own belief breakthrough, which is what I want for you. And the key element is tying in all these different angles and modalities and bridging the awareness of what the belief is to where it actually lives within you, where it physically is within the body. And that's what people call the subconscious. Subconscious mind is basically the automatic programs that are running throughout the day. Any skill you've learned in your life, driving a car, or if you've learned to play an instrument, or you've learned to type on a computer or anything like that, these become automatic programs. Well, just as those skills also unwanted programs start running in our lives. And these aren't just based on how we react to things, they also affect our impulses and our inspiration and our decision making and how we even view a situation, our projections onto reality. They're quite literally morphing and reflecting our lives back to us. And so these are operating on a level often beneath our conscious thought. Even if you watch your thoughts all day, there are other energies and stuff like that going on, even in your physical vessel. I like to use like the metaphor of like a sound bowl, like a singing bowl. The mind is like stoking the bowl, but the actual resonance is coming physically from the body. It's because we live in a physical reality, and so things are attracting themselves to each other. Things are resonating with each other. So where's the instrument? It's the body is literally putting out the signal. The other thing too is when we go in and we find where it is in the body and we shift it, then it shifts it on a physiological level, chemical. And so the signals that go between the nervous system and the body and the brain and back and forth, they affect each other. So this actually affects your thoughts. If you have an aching heart, you can't just keep thinking love in your brain because your heart is sending signals to your brain. You have an aching heart. To conclude, when you change, your life changes. Also, when your life changes, you change. But one of those, we actually have creative, and we have the ability in which to take action. And our efforts are grandly rewarded when we put effort into changing, especially when there's something specific we want from life or there's something we want to change. The initial effort of trying to change on the outside usually makes things more uncomfortable and leaves us very frustrated and feeling helpless, versus still a challenge in the beginning to change self, but once we do, then the reflection naturally changes and things just become a lot easier, and it makes us feel like we're not alone. We don't have to do everything ourselves. I'm going to leave the link in the description for the belief breakthrough. And also, if you want guidance going through this process, I offer sessions too. Wishing you a beautiful day, and I hope this truly helped you, and we'll see you in the next one.